So I have a Whirlpool WHER25 reverse osmosis water filtration system right here, and I've had it for about 3 years, and it's always produced decent water flow, but nowadays, after I fill up pretty much just 1 cup of water, the water flow is very lacking, and as you can see, it's just dripping. If I look at the manual right here under troubleshooting, page 21, it says right here that if the system makes lower amount of product water than usual, storage tank air chamber might be less than 5 to 7 psi, and the correction is to open reverse osmosis faucet and drain tank until flow shows to a drip. Keep faucet open and check the tank pressure. If low, pressurize to 6 psi. Close faucet to refill the tank. So that's pretty much all it's asking me to do. So let's look at this real quick. Again, here's my reverse osmosis system, and here's the storage tank. And in the storage tank, the top part right here is where the water goes in and fills up the tank, and the bottom part right here actually has a bladder that fills with air, and it needs to be between 5 to 7 psi according to the instructions. So the whole goal, like I said earlier, is to shut off the main water and then release the water pressure from the tank, basically. And after we do that, we want to add pump air into adding more pressure into the bladder down here until it reaches 5 to 7 psi. Now, my system is a cheap unit. It didn't came with a shutoff valve for the tank, nor did it came with a shutoff valve from the water supply. That's where the green line goes to the reverse osmosis right here. So if you have a shutoff valve, you would just shut that off, and then you would turn on the faucet, relieve the pressure, then maybe close another shutoff valve right here, and then remove the tank out of here to drain out the water. That would be the most ideal method to do so. However, since I don't have that, this is all I'm going to do. Number one, I'm going to stop the water from flowing, and to achieve that is just to remove the first carbon filter right here. When I remove it, it actually stops water from flowing towards the rest of the water filtration. So first of all, let's do that. So I just stop the water from flowing. Number two, let's turn on the water, the faucet. Should come to a stop very soon. Alright, now it's just dripping. And finally, I'm going to use this bicycle pump right here to add air pressure, and I'm going to measure it with this gauge right here. So before we even start adding pressure, let's check to see how much psi does this bladder have. And it has 0 psi, absolutely no pressure at all. I'm going to add this. Now I tried using this pump, and unfortunately this pump is too cheap. It will not engage air into the tank. So even though I do not really want to use a electric pump, because I'm afraid that I might go over 7 psi's, but I will just try and see if this works or not. I'll just have to be very careful to not have the pressure go too high. Now if it does go too much, the good thing is that I can still always just press the middle dial to relieve the pressure. So let's try this out. And as I turn this on, I'm expecting the faucet to have more water come out. As you can see here, the water's coming out as I just added a little bit of pressure. So after doing that repeatedly over and over for 10 minutes so far, I realized that the tank is really light. There's not much water in it anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to open up this nut right here, and I'm assuming no water. Oh, one more thing is I did check the PSI down here, and again it's barely like registered at 1 PSI, so I'm assuming that there's not much pressure. And I did take, let's do this real quick. I did take something to press down on that lever right there, so all the air is drain out. So now I'm going to just attempt to open this up, and oh, there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it up here, put the tank on its side so it can drain out water right there. And I'm just going to attach this directly over here so it drains quicker. Well, that's a lot faster. So I'm going to do this a couple of times and I'll come back to this video. So after a couple of turning the pump on and off, now it's getting to a point where there's pretty much no water coming out as I increase the pressure. So I'm guessing it's getting really close. So I'll give it a little bit more, add a little bit more air to here, and then I'll start using my gauge to see what PSI level I'm at. So I believe I'm at 7 PSI. This gauge right here registered it as at about 7. And I have another cheap gauge right here. I think I should probably invest in a better gauge someday in the near future. But this one right here also says it's about 6 PSI. So it's in the right range. So I'm going to put everything back together. So first let's reattach the hose right here. Okay, I'm going to reattach this cover right there. Put back the water filter in so I can re-engage the water going through it. There we go. Now I'm just going to let the tank fill back up with water. So earlier I couldn't even fill up 1 cup of water. Here's 32 ounces of water. Let's see how the water rate goes. Oh look, 32 ounces, and it still has really strong water flow, so it is fixed.